Need some fast, cheap, reliable MUT coins? Go to MMOXP.com and use discount code MONEYSHOT for 5% off your order. Link in the description below. Welcome back, YouTubers and Madden fans. This is Madden Money Shot, sniffing at the Madden cheese as always. Got some new house rules, so I'm going to put out some new house rules gameplay. Basically a method that I'm using on how to win as many house rule games as quickly as possible. To get right into it, if you don't know the rules, basically scoring a touchdown wins the game, and you have 10 plays. Whoever is closest to their opponent's goal line at the end of the game wins the game. Real simple, nothing to it. Like I said, you only got 10 plays though, so you got to keep that in mind. So first off, I mean, you want to use, to me, I think a pressure defense is probably the best way to go. Ultimately, you know, you can basically steal offensive plays. If you get a sack for negative 10 yards, that's basically like stealing an offensive play. Like right here, I just stole an offensive play for 2 yards. You know what I mean? So sending, to me, pressure is going to be the best way to do that. Ultimately, like I said, this is a win a touchdown. You know, if you score a touchdown, you win the game, which is a lot like the last house rules. But I already put out videos about that. I already put out videos about scoring one-play touchdowns in these game modes. So if you want to see a video of a little bit more breakdown on that,
Break yourself, fool!
I'll put a link in the description for those because, like I said, I already did 2 of those last week. That was the objective last week. Score a 50-plus yard touchdown, and you win the game right away. Obviously, you can do the exact same thing here, but like I said, I touched on that in the video already, so I'm not going to go into that too much. This is going to be more about, you know, how to win games in other methods because, like I said, obviously, I already did that video. So to me, there's a pretty easy, I'd call it like a 3-step method to winning games in this game mode. And number 1 is going to be consistency on defense. I typically want to send a lot of heat because you only get 10 offensive plays.
Nope.
But if you get sacks for, you know, 10-yard loss, it's almost like adding an offensive play to your arsenal right there. I mean, I run the same man blitz. It's very consistent. It doesn't get home run very often. You can't get behind it very easily. You can see right there. I mean, I have very good corners too. I put a point of emphasis on that as far as my my defense goes. On offensive side, I'm pretty much going to try the one-play touchdown once or twice at the beginning of every game, and then I might settle down. Like right there, I can see the one-play touchdown wasn't there, so I'm going to go for a very consistent chunk yardage play because the closer you get to your opponent's goal line, the more panicked they get. And the more panicked they get, the easier they get to predict what they're going to do. So the closer they get backed up to their own goal line, the more often you're going to see them just throwing it up to really, you know, bad positions. If they're going to be throwing the ball deep, I have faith that that's going to be my best position to win the game. So I want to force them to throw the ball deep. I mean, they're seeing a man coverage. They're going to think they have something.
Gotcha, bitch.
Right here, you can see I get a pick. There is no real downside to throwing picks, by the way, because, I mean, you can score on a defensive touchdown and win the game, which I've done a few times. But for the most part, throwing a pick, there is no downside. So wing the ball. Have no fear in throwing picks at any situation. Now, you'll see I'll do it a couple times just trying to fit the ball in there. So like I said, going back to consistent chunk yardage plays, that play is a very consistent play. It's one of my best money plays. I had that was the route the whole way. Reading a defense is really important. I'll get into that more in the next video, in the next gameplay. But this first video, what I really want to hammer home is defense and pressure defense. I'm sending the house pretty much every play in a way that's pretty consistent with good coverage. As you can see right here, I might just push them right back. I score a safety and I win the game that way. So there's a lot of ways you can win just by pushing your opponent back on defensive plays. Like I said, it's like stealing offensive plays. It's like double dipping. You have an offensive play where you might get 10 or 15 yards, and you have a defensive play where you're pushing them back for 5 to 10 yards. So in total, you're getting 20 to 40 yards on a possession, which is going to make you win games really quickly. So on the other side, like I said, I wanted to make my second point of emphasis is probably, you know, like I said, home run plays have their value. I'm pretty much going to try a home run play at the beginning of every game just in case I can win the game really quickly. But if I can't win it, the second most important thing is probably reading a defense. It's going to be fundamentals. So like I said, defense consistency is really important. Other than that, on the offensive side, you just have to read a defense. So right here, I can see that this clown is basically trying to send the house the same way, but he's not doing it in a smart way. He doesn't have really good coverage. So I'm going to set up one of my better plays against man blitzes, and this is the first play, and I can read them like a book. And we almost get a really good play right off the bat. We almost get a touchdown if it wasn't for this one guy coming over and cutting off the route. But you know what? Getting 32 yards on the first play, or getting a lot of, I don't know how far that was, but getting that many yards on the first play completely completely flip the field to the point where, like I said, anytime I get my opponent inside the 20, you're going to start seeing them make stupid plays and start panicking. People typically lose their head here. So here, I mean, he actually gets a pretty lucky play. A lot of times that ball will get knocked out, gets about 10 yards back. That's actually a pretty good gain for him considering. So I'm going to go right back to that same man play because people don't typically go away from what their first instinct is. So I see he's pretty much in that same mid-blitz look. I don't make the same adjustment. I make him think that I'm going to run the exact same play, but I leave the B route doing what it's doing because it's actually a pretty good play against man. So I just streak a different route. He chases that, Psych! And now I got this B route just streaking right over the middle. So reading a defense is probably the second most important thing. If the home run play doesn't work for you, reading a defense is going to win you a lot of games because, like I said, I put out a video with 50-yard plus touchdowns against every defense, so obviously you have to read a defense for that to work. So my third tip would probably be keeping your composure. These are very much the same tips that you would see in a normal gameplay, but it's obviously a little bit more focused in this type of gameplay, a faster type of gameplay. But the same way that I said my opponent loses their head when they're backed up against their own goal line or they're inside their own 20 is the same way you have to not lose your head when you're in those situations. You'll find yourself in those situations. You can get yourself out of it by being consistent. But ultimately, if you keep your composure, you'll see the field better for what it is. You know what I mean? A lot of people, they don't see the field for what it is because they really, all they see is the situation they're in. So you're going to see how I'm going to use the situation in my favor is I'm going to push this guy back once again. So I'm already at his 30. Like I said, I'm pretty close to the point where I want to be and knock this ball away. Nope. So, he's stuck. You're going to see this guy just like most of my opponents. My goal is just to push them back to the point where they just start making bad decisions and they make the game easier for me because, like I said, people lose their head the closer they get. So once again, we're going to go right back. I just showed you this exact play. I just used this exact play. The RB route is typically the route if I have outside leverage here. So you can see, like I said, the RB route really works really well. I hit that once again. I'm just using some of my better money plays just to get chunk yardage. I don't necessarily have to score because because I get my opponent in a position like this, he's backed up inside his own 10. He knows that this game is already getting out of reach for him. My defense is doing his job. He's one of the few people that actually ran it. Like most people don't have the composure to run it. Maybe he thought that he could bust a big run. A lot of people have a lot of faith that they could do that. Not necessarily against some of the defenses that I run, but like I said, you can see, I'm inside the 5 right now, and I keep my composure. I now have all the time in the world. I have all the plays in the world. I'm just going to go ahead and hit with an inside zone, which most people probably wouldn't do, and then I get a nice, easy walk-in touchdown because I kept my composure. I didn't, think too much and think I have to score here or, rushing in or whatever. So keeping your composure, and whether you're in the good situation or the bad situation, is going to be very important. So for this last gameplay, I just want to put all these things together. Like I said, first play, I'm always going to try that one play touchdown. You know what I mean? In this game mode, you can win right away. I actually mess up because I almost run out of time. I season the cover 3, but I don't get to make all the full adjustments. I try to run it anyway, and it fails. But if I could have made my adjustment and motioned that running back out, if I had enough time to do that, it probably would have been a touchdown. But that's fine. Like I said, this last gameplay, I'm going to go through all of these things. Like I said, key number 2, make sure that I'm playing consistent defense. That's going to be one of my most important things in this game mode is shutting down the offensive opponent. You can see right here, like I said, I got to get all over that ball. I got to use every ball. Nope. I got to go for the knockouts. I'm going to get them quite a bit. And you're going to see that's pretty much going to be the way. So first play didn't work, but since I saw that it could have worked, I'm going to go right back to it. Typically, people don't notice what you're doing when they stop it. So I'm hoping that he didn't really notice this play, and he doesn't necessarily go back to defending it. I try for the tight end, like I said, throwing picks doesn't really matter. But the tight end, he had a step. I typically don't like throwing that to the tight end, although I've scored quite a few times against cover 3, throwing it to the tight end when they shift coverage to the receiver. So it can happen. But like I said, take chances in this game mode. There's no downside to taking chances and throwing long picks. You only get one play, and you don't necessarily lose yardage off of that. So my opponent's a step ahead of me as far as he's trying to basically win the tug of war. He just throws a run play at me. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to throw something back at him. This is basically designed to go right to the running back. I throw it a little bit early, and that's why that ball sails. I have to wait a little bit longer, but since I was running to the short side of the field, it didn't necessarily work out. So no big deal. Like I said, I'm only 5 yards deep. He's only 5 yards deep in my territory. Not a big deal. I'm going to keep running these blitzes. Hopefully I can get a sack or any type of play to send him back in the negative on the defensive side of work. I'm covering those deep routes though. Like I said, a lot of people, they want to hit those deep routes. Nope. You have to know the weaknesses of your defense. The weakness of my defense is going to be a deep crossing route or a wheel route. That's pretty much it. So if I cover that up, I got no problems. So here I'm still trying to hit the one play touchdowns, which I'm probably a little bit late in the game for that, where I probably should start trying to just take what I could get. And ultimately on this play, I ended up doing that. But I think if I show him a cover 3 play that he doesn't know, maybe I can hit something, and he's all over that, so no big deal. I'll go ahead, I'll just take the check down underneath. I get 10 yards back. Now it's to the point where I'm going to start trying to work, work the field position game. There's no problem with that. Now I can go ahead and I can just try to push him back and make him predictable. So you can tell he's already starting to do that because he's coming out in 5 wide receiver sets. So here I'm just trying to, I'm going to try to get one of these blitzers free, usually in the middle with this middle linebacker, which sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Given this formation, I have to. Gotcha, and you see I just drop right back into that. I mean, I know he's going to try to throw the ball out quickly considering how much pressure I'm sending. So I just basically eliminate one of his plays. So back to chunk plays. Like I said, you've seen this play quite a bit. The deep fork, one of my more favorite plays. The RB route is pretty much the play every time. That's going to be my biggest play, and then my check down is going to be the X route. Here he's all over that, so I just go to the X route because, like I said, that's pretty much how it is. If he users out of the middle, my X route's going to be there for a big play. So now I'm hitting him with chunk plays. I'm pushing him back. I'm getting him into predictable situations. He's going to try to start hitting big plays because when anybody starts seeing they're losing the field position battle, they start freaking out. They start getting really, obvious like this. Like, I mean, he's already been running a lot of 5 wide receiver sets anyway, so I know what he's trying to do, and I'm pretty much using it as well as you can. As you saw, I got a pick last time. I don't need to get picks because they don't necessarily help me, but knocking balls out is going to help. Nope. So here, panics, like I said, chucks it up deep. That's what he's doing now. He's thinking that he sees man covers. He thinks he's going to beat me deep, and he's just throwing bad balls. So once again, going right back to some of my bread and butter plays. We don't have to get a touchdown. We don't have to score, but if I can get inside the 20, something in that range, that's really where it's going to be best to do. So here I wanted to hit that RB route, but he just shifted his defense. He's doing a really good job with his cover 3 of shifting his defense to the side where my cover 3 beater is. So obviously he runs cover 3 quite a bit, so he knows where the weakness is. Like I said, that's what you got to do when whatever defense you like to run. You have to know what the defense is, and you have to be looking for that, just like I am. I'm basically, this is a defensive struggle right now. We're only going about 5 yards away from the tug of war position. Here I get a sack, big sack too. I get all 11 yards back that I just lost. So we're right back at the 33. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to try to sneak back in a one-play touchdown because I haven't gone to it in a while. So I'm hoping that he falls asleep on it. I'm hoping that he doesn't pay attention to it the same way. I don't even make all my adjustments because I don't want to give him an opportunity to shift the way that he's been. And without the adjustment of at least streaking the tight end, the play doesn't work. So I throw another pick. Like I said, there's no penalty to throwing picks at all. I can throw as many picks as I like. I'm in a winning position. I can try as much as I want, and I'm still, I'm still in a position to win this game. So he's had no success against my defense. I've pretty much just been pushing him back. Nope. Here, like I said, I mean, I almost get screwed. I thought that card caught it, and he would have went to the house. But you can see my cornerbacks are great. I mean, I put all my resources in my corners. My corners and my receivers are probably the 2 positions on my team that are the best. And coming to the point now, I'm thinking there's probably only a couple plays left. I need to get inside that 20. I need to get to a position where I'm good. Here, I actually hold the ball long enough. Go ahead and I just, I got the new Tariq Cohen, the new Most Feared Tariq Cohen, boosted up to like a 91. I got the jukebox on him. As you can see right there, he's definitely got some fast juke moves. And I'm just, I'm living exactly where I need to be. He's got to basically hit bombs now. Like, he's got to have that internal clock ticking, saying, I'm going to run out of plays soon. So I know exactly what he's going to do. He's going to start chucking it up. Nope. Here he hits a quick pass. Like I said, my user was really on point. I mean, if we have a defensive play back and forth, you can see how I brought my defense to come to play. So here I was thinking about doing an outside throw just like I did, but like I said, I'm in a position where I need to be. So we're just going to go ahead. We're just going to keep running the ball, play this game of defensive battle. Sometimes you have to play it like that. You don't have to score. You can win games just going through the 10 plays, and that's ultimately my goal here. So here he comes out in a running formation, which is surprising. I guess the pass plays are having no success, so he's hoping that he can break through my line, because a lot of times if somebody's sending a lot of blitzes, you just have to get through one level, and it's nothing but grass. So I think that's what he's thinking. I don't know why he's letting the clock run down. I don't know if he was having issues, but that's exactly what he tries to do, and he actually breaks off a pretty good run. So, it's sometimes that's the best play if somebody's blitzing heavy. Sometimes the run play is the play, but I'm not, it's, like I said, it's not going to change what I'm doing because what I'm doing is working. So if he wants to run the ball and waste his downs, he can do that because ultimately, like I said, I'm in a position to win here. So I'm going to try that one play one more time. Got all my adjustments in. I don't go for it though because, like I said, this is not a position. I don't need to make, take chances. I just want to get back some yards because I know we're only a couple plays away from me winning the game. So there's no reason for me to waste it. I'm just going to take back 5 to 10 yards, keep him in this position, and I'm just going to, keep playing defense until it's over. So this is the last play here. You're going to see he basically gets shut out one more time as we get the sack to end it, and that's the game. So like I said, you don't have to score. You don't have to do that. You can win just like that. So that's it. That's the video. If you guys want to see more videos like this, more gameplay, do me a favor, hit the like button. I'll to do that. Other than that, thanks for watching. MADDENMONEYSHOT out. Need more help or just want to show your support? Then head over to my Patreon and join my team, where you can get exclusive content like ebooks and bonus plays, as well as early access to my vids and more. Link in the description below.